Hey there, welcome back to Midlife and Glowing. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nicole. And since this week's main episode was all about giving and how generosity doesn't just change the world, it changes you, we wanted to take this Glow Bite to go a little deeper.
Because we know for a lot of women, especially in midlife, the idea of giving can be complicated. You spent years giving to your kids, your family, your work, your community. Sometimes it feels like there's nothing left to give.
That's why today we're talking about the energy of generosity, how giving can actually recharge you when it comes from the right place. Because there's a difference between giving from overflow and giving from exhaustion.
Okay, so let's start with the science, because giving is more than just something that feels good. It literally changes your brain and body chemistry.
When you give, whether it's time, money, kindness, or even a smile, your brain releases a mix of dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. It's what researchers call the helper's high. Oxytocin especially is fascinating. It's often called the love hormone, and it lowers blood pressure, reduces stress, and helps regulate your nervous system.
That's wild. So giving actually puts your body into a more relaxed, regulated state.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, there's researchers from the University of California that found people who volunteered regularly had lower levels of inflammation and better cardiovascular health. Another study from Harvard showed that people who give generously actually report higher life satisfaction and even live longer.
So it's not just emotional, it's biological. Giving helps your body and your mind thrive.
But here's the flip side, and I know a lot of women will relate to this. If you've been in caretaker mode for decades, giving can start to feel like a drain instead of a gift.
When you're giving from an empty tank, it's not generosity anymore. It's depletion. You can tell you're in that space when giving feels resentful or obligatory.
Or when you find yourself saying yes just to keep the peace, but you're secretly exhausted and don't really want to. And here's the thing, that kind of giving doesn't create positive energy. It actually lowers your vibration and drains your body's reserves, mentally, emotionally, and even physically.
It reminds me of what we always say about self-care. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you give without boundaries, it's not sustainable. But when you give from overflow, from a full heart and grounded energy, it's not only sustainable, but it's energizing as well.
Studies show that people who give from a place of choice and joy rather than obligation have lower cortisol and higher oxytocin. Your body literally knows the difference between forced giving and heartfelt generosity.
So how do we shift from giving that depletes us to giving that recharges us?
The first step is awareness. Ask yourself, am I giving because I feel I should or because I want to? One comes from pressure, the other from alignment.
When you give from your overflow, not your reserves, it's a mindset shift. It means you fill yourself first through rest, connection, creativity, self-care, and then what naturally spills over becomes your gift to others.
When you're nourished, your energy flows outward effortlessly. You're not drained by giving, you're amplified by it. It's the difference between forcing light and being light.
That's beautiful. And honestly, when you think about it that way, giving becomes joyful again. Whether you're showing up for a friend, volunteering, or even something as simple as smiling at a stranger, it all feels lighter when it's not coming from depletion. You know, I noticed that when I go into a store and you make eye contact with someone, which I typically try to go in, get what I need and go out, Introvert here, I kind of keep my head down and do what I need. But when you do make eye contact with a stranger, I just actually had this the other day, and a lady and I made eye contact and we both smiled at each other. And I did walk away feeling lighter and brighter, and it was a reminder to myself that I need to get out of my head and really look at what's around me. And even just that small smile that,
Yes.
you can...
Makes a difference.
Yes, it really does.
In your day and probably hers too.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I'll go for walks around here. I get snubbed all the time. I'll say hi to people and they won't say hi back. But, every now and again, somebody does say hi back. And, it just feels good and it makes you forget about all the people that just pretended that you didn't exist when you walked right by.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. When we were looking for our second home and we were driving in the neighborhood and we kind of decided on this house, but we were just, we drove through the neighborhood to make sure. And there was this woman standing on her porch, and it was actually the house next to the one that we were looking at purchasing. And she was standing on her porch. We drove by and she gave us this big wave, big smile. And I'm like, okay, yup. If people around here are that friendly, then I think we're making the right choice. Like, this is the fit for us. And we had the best neighbors there. We really did. But, even we're not at that house anymore. But around here, I go for walks and I wave at anybody that comes by. And again, I'm an introvert, so I'm actually sweating and nervous while I'm waving because I'm like, oh, if they don't wave back to me. But it's like, yeah, I'll get over it. I'll be fine. But at least I waved, like any cars that drive by or people walking by, I do give the old wave. And you're right. When you do get a wave back or a hi back, it does, make your day. And it's just such a small thing. It's so simple. Such a small thing.
Isn't it silly? It's small and simple, but it impacts your energy and how you feel. So let's talk about a few simple ways to give that actually recharge your energy instead of depleting it.
Okay, number 1, give your presence. Put your phone down when you're talking to someone, look them in the eye, listen. Presence is one of the most powerful gifts we can give, and it costs nothing.
Yeah, I know I've mentioned before that I get a kick out of funny commercials. And there's a commercial where this woman is sitting in a coffee shop talking to her friend. And she's trying to tell her friend about her relationship with her boyfriend and how he's not listening to her and he's not, this and that. And the friend is like on her phone looking down and was like, yeah. And she's like, you know what? You're not even listening. Get out of here. She has the lady get up and then she pulls in the backup friend. I can't remember how he phrases it. He's a backup quarterback. This isn't one of the commercials on the NFL channel, like while you're watching football. So, she pulls in the backup friend and he comes and he sits down and he puts his, head in his hands and he's staring right at her. And he's like, you need a partner, not a project. I love it so much because it's so true. How often do we do that where either we ourselves are on our phones or, you're doing something else while you're interacting with someone and you're not paying attention to them or they're not paying attention to you. And when it's you and you're not being, given the time of day by the person that you're trying to have a conversation with, it really doesn't feel good.
No.
So, but then on the other hand, when someone does actually listen, I've noticed that grandma's really good with this. Like, she is so into the conversation with you, and it feels so good to be talking to someone that is really interested in what you're saying.
Yes, and she remembers and will bring it up, and I'm like, did I mention that? I must have, because she remembers, Gosh, it does feel good. You're right.
So number 2, share your gratitude. Text someone who made your day, leave a kind comment online, tell your partner or your kids something you appreciate about them. Research shows that expressing gratitude not only strengthens relationships, but also boosts serotonin and dopamine levels for both of you. We talked about that in our gratitude episode.
Number 3, give through creativity. Maybe that's baking, crocheting, writing, or creating something beautiful. When you create from love and share it, you're sending positive energy into the world, and that ripples outward.
Number 4, give through kindness. Hold the door, pay someone a compliment, leave an encouraging note. There's something called the ripple effect of kindness. Studies show that witnessing an act of kindness actually increases oxytocin in the observer. So one kind act spreads positive energy far beyond the person receiving it.
And number 5, give to yourself first. That's not selfish, it's sacred. You can't give your best to anyone if you're constantly running on empty. So make sure you're on your own list.
I think this ties beautifully into what we talked about in our energy episode a few weeks ago. Everything carries a frequency, including your intentions when you give.
Yes, and when you give from love, joy, or abundance, that frequency expands. It literally raises your energy and the energy of everyone around you.
But when you give from guilt or resentment, it lowers your vibration. And people can feel that too. So generosity isn't just about the action, it's about the energy behind it.
That's so true. And when you start becoming more mindful about that, you'll notice how your body responds. Giving from alignment feels light and warm. Giving from pressure, that feels heavy.
Yeah, it's like your body is saying this feels right or this is too much. Learning to listen to that is one of the best self-care skills that we can develop in midlife.
Something I've been thinking about lately is how energy moves in cycles. When we give from a pure place, it always comes back. And maybe not from the same person, but in some form.
Yeah, right. That's called the law of circulation. Energy, love, money, time, it's all meant to flow. When you hold on too tightly, it gets stuck. When you give freely, it expands.
So giving really is a form of trust. It's trusting that you'll always have enough, and that when you pour into others from a full heart, the universe will find ways to pour back into you.
And that's why giving, when done from alignment, never truly depletes you. It keeps you connected to the flow of life itself.
So to wrap this up, giving doesn't have to leave you drained. When it's aligned, intentional, and filled with love, it recharges you.
The energy of generosity is a two-way current. You give, but you also receive. In calm, in joy, in connection.
So the next time you're about to say yes to something, just pause and check in. Does this giving come from love or from obligation? That one question can completely shift your energy and the outcome.
And that brings us to today's glow reflection. Where in my life can I give from overflow, not depletion?
Maybe it's saying yes to a cause you care about, or maybe it's saying no to something that drains you so you have more time to give where it matters.
Giving Tuesday, or any day, isn't just about generosity for others, it's about generosity towards yourself too. Because when you honor your energy, your giving becomes the kind that truly changes lives, including your own.
Thanks for spending these few minutes with us today. We hope this episode inspires you to see generosity not as something that empties you, but as something that fills you up.
We'll be back next week with another Glow Bite to help you live, give, and glow through midlife.
Until then, give with love and let that energy come full circle.